Live from Toronto to the world.
Josh!
This is Josh Holiday Live. Talk that rocks.
The public needs to be informed.
Josh might surprise us.
Got an opinion? Dial 647-6YO-JOSH.
When you hear him, you're like, what?
Josh Holiday Live starts now.
Yes, it's a very special, very scary episode of Josh Holiday Live. I'm joined by Lisa Brooke.
Hey-o!
A Halloween aficionado. A super busy show today. We're going to talk to a guy who works at a year-round haunted house in the Niagara area.
Ooh.
It's called Yellers. So we'll talk to him a little later.
I've never
in the
heard
show.
of that place.
No, until this week I had not either. We'll do a little bit of Halloween trivia. And first up, though, we're going to talk to a real live witch. I've always been fascinated by the movie witches and the cauldrons and the green skin and the hats and the brooms. And so I went online and I looked for Witches Toronto and found an actual witch to come on the show. Yeah.
You better be careful, Josh, as you talk to this witch, because, you know, people get hexes on them, and that's a very real thing.
Beth Abatha Parker is a witch, which is really exciting and really scary. It's Halloween time.
Oh, it's right in keeping with the season.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. It's I mean, I guess it is. It's there's a lot of misconceptions about witchcraft, but I'm glad I'm here to talk about it. And
all right.
You know, just yeah.
So will you be riding your broomstick this Halloween?
No, I don't. Actually, don't have a broomstick. I have.
Do you have a cauldron?
No, I actually have an air fryer that I actually use quite a bit.
Oh, how long have you been a witch? Like, are you born? Is a person born a witch, or how do you become a witch?
Well, I discovered witchcraft about 20 years ago. And yeah, I was my stepmom who brought me into witchcraft, and she was a Wiccan, and so I've been practicing for quite a while, and it's just really a lifelong kind of journey. Like, a lot of people think that it's like, oh, you know, scary and stuff, but it's a daily practice. You know, it's more of that sort of thing. So yeah.
So you don't have like a pointy hat or like a green hue to your skin or warts or any of that stuff? I thought we were actually talking to, I don't know, I've only seen witches in movies and stuff. I didn't realize there was a whole
That's fair. That's fair. I understand. Like, a lot of people think, oh, do you walk around with a cape? And, you know, it's like, no, I just have a normal Durango. That's what I ride around in. I don't have a crazy hat. You know, I just have my toque and stuff. But, you know, I mean, I do, like I said, there are some practices that I do try to do. You know, you may have heard that witches have familiars.
Right.
And they don't allow pets in my building, so I actually have I've rented out my other room, and that's where actually I have a familiar.
What is a familiar?
Oh,
a familiar is in my practice, and again, there are many ways to practice witchcraft, but in my practice, a familiar is an object or an animal that can be endowed with magical properties.
Oh.
My familiar, like I said, I'm not allowed animals, so I rented out my spare bedroom because rents are very expensive here in Toronto. And so Gary, I have a guy named Gary who's my familiar, and he's really nice guy, answered an ad on Kijiji, and he was just really great. And he's been really great in this journey with me. So he's my familiar, and he does repairs around the house and stuff like that. So it's handy. Really lucked out.
Now you said with your familiar, you like witches will imbue their familiar with magical powers. Like how does that happen with this guy Gary?
With Gary, yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, great question. Well, what I like to do is I like to do a protection charm on him before he does any sort of like electrical work around my house. Because this building is old, and our landlord he's not really on top of changing things. So a lot of times I'll have to change, if a light goes out and there's electrical problems, I have to kind of do it myself. And so I really just get Gary to do it, so I'll rub him with I do a protection charm with an egg. I just rub him with an egg, and then I get him to go up. And so far, I mean, knock on wood, there's been no problems, and he seems to work. And like anytime he has to do anything dangerous, like chase away pigeons and clean out the poop on our balcony, or last week I saw there was a raccoon that was digging underneath our outdoor area, things like that I don't want to have to deal with. I just get out the old egg and I just, I'll say, you are protected under my magical spell. Yeah. And it's nice. He'll walk me to when I'm getting into my Uber. Sometimes I'll just bring him along to feel like safety at night because, traveling as a woman at night, kind of dangerous. Yeah. Gary is great. It's just nice to have him around.
So there's I guess you're in that realm of new aginess and crystals. Do you do stuff like tarot cards or anything like that?
Yeah, there's so many different types of magic that I practice in my life. I do tarot cards. I used to have a deck. I don't. I lost it a few years ago, and I've been meaning to replace it. Occasionally, what I'll do is instead, just to kind of make it interesting, is I sometimes will collect like business cards and things like that, and then I'll do a tarot card reading based off of people's business cards. I have one here that's for Todd Mertz, and he's a real estate agent. So for that, I would be like, oh, you should take a look at your property.
Property is coming into your life.
Yeah, be aware of what's around your home.
If the dentist card comes up.
Yeah, the dentist card comes up. I do have one here for Terry Lynn Dodge. She is my dentist, and usually it's tricky because I really like Terry, but a lot of the time that's like someone's going to be hurt around you. You have to be careful because it means that life is going to take a bite out of you.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I see. Yeah, you interpret the cards.
Yeah, so I like to interpret the cards. Like I said, I've got Elrod Automotive. I've got my Beth Hootberger from Hootberger and Whistle attorneys. I have a lot, and I have quite a few.
That sounds like the devil card.
Yeah, the lawyer is the devil. You're right. The lawyer is the devil card. Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, I mean it's kind of obvious, but yeah, you get those cards, and you're like, okay, I guess I know. And actually, people really do like it because they're like, oh yeah, I don't like lawyers too. I get it,
Right.
And so there's an automatic association, which is nice. It feels like whoever I'm doing the reading with, we get a connection, So.
And what about you? Yeah. The witches that we see in movies and stuff have cauldrons, and but do you use any of the elements like water or fire or anything like that?
There was a while where I used crystals quite a bit. I had quite a few at one point. I would have I would have protective stones on me. And I'd have a lot of, rose quartz is about self-love. And at one point in my life, I had a lot of rose quartz on me. This is before I met Gary.
Right.
And I had a lot of rose quartz on me. And I guess I was just going through, as we all do, time in your life. It's, a little bit more like, well, this city can get lonely. So I was wearing a lot, and I really, I never took them off. And I wasn't sleeping right because, they were always around me. That's a lot of self-love energy that's kind of being transmitted to you.
Okay.
And then one time I went, swimming, and that was really difficult. I didn't take them off. The lifeguard said I should have at that point.
Oh,
but
God.
I didn't. Yeah, I almost drowned because, you don't realize how heavy that energy is, right? And
it's so ironic because it's like protection, it's self-protection, and
I'm not sure it's the energy that's heavy. I would, if I had to take a guess, and I'm no scientist, It might actually been the crystal, the rock itself that was weighing you down.
Well, that's actually what the lifeguard had said too.
Right.
It could be 6 of one, half dozen of the other, right? Like, is the crystal heavy?
Right.
Maybe, probably, but is the energy of all of that self-love there, is that heavy too? Yes. Like both answers are yes. So
right.
I think it was, yeah. So I really kind of learned my lessons with crystals. Like maybe that's not quite for me. And for a while I was a green witch too. I loved.
What is the green witch? Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah,
it's not okay because green witch. I'm like, okay, that's that lady,
the witch of the West, right?
No, no. A green witch is somebody who just like gets out in nature, speaks to trees, and goes in the woods and forests, communes with plants and nature. It's kind of tricky in Toronto,
right.
And so again, I was at one point so involved in communing with nature. I got locked in like the Home Depot nursery. Just up near Steeles, near the 401. I got locked in there, and I couldn't. They didn't hear me. I was so like one right with around all these plants. They didn't hear me, and so they had to get me the next day. So
How do you explain that when they come and get you? How do you explain what happened?
It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
I was really embarrassed. But like. They understood. Obviously, you didn't take anything. Like,
right.
There's this, middle-aged woman at the back of the Home Depot. They were like, "Oh, okay, she's fine," or whatever. They asked a lot of questions about what I was doing and why I was there, and I explained to them. And yeah.
So you've been like, so I guess you're kind of over these 20 years, you've kind of dabbled in a lot of things because you talked about being into tarot cards, crystals, a green witch,
fire witch.
What's a fire witch? What's a fire witch?
Yeah, a fire witch is, just like the name says, it's just like somebody who dabbles with fire.
Oh.
And unfortunately, when you're in an apartment, you are not allowed a fire pit on the balcony. So my neighbors complained. Yeah, they were really not happy. I tried to do it. Toronto, sometimes it's tricky. So I actually have just an electric fireplace that I use. It's not as good. I gotta admit, it's not as good.
So would you say that you are like sort of between motifs right now, or have you landed on one that's?
I just still do occasional ones. The one that I'm kind of working now is on potions. So there's a kitchen witch.
Right.
Is as the name says, is a witch who mixes food and baked goods, and it creates like magical baked goods,
right?
Through her alchemy of putting certain ingredients together. So I've started to kind of dabble into like potions
Right.
that you can ingest, things like love potions and sleep potions.
Oh, okay. So what would you mentioned sleeping potion? What would it be like Eye of Newt, or what would go into a sleeping potion?
Yeah, Eye of Newt is hard to come by, but like you can't. There are similar things like here's the one that I've kind of been working with. So you would take the juice of a 3-day-old lemon. You'd have to find the one that this in the book that I'm using calls for Tears of a Maiden. You just have to find somebody who's crying and then just see if they'll give you like your tears. It's a bit of an awkward question, but you're like, oh, can I, take some tears?
That is
And
odd.
then you have to have a few drops from the first rain in spring, which is I have actually every time it rains between February and April, I will like collect that water for this potion.
Mm.
And then, this is like, and then the one thing that is added is about 10 shots of vodka or gin, whatever you have.
Right.
And that, if you mix all of that together and you have to kind of take it down like in one gulp, I think, it really works quite well. I've done it twice now.
And that's your sleeping potion.
That really, I find it really works. I haven't, there are definitely things about it that I would change.
Okay, I might be a witch because I think I've done this spell on myself.
Well, see, and here's the thing. Yeah, like I feel like there's a lot of people who are called to be, who are already practicing witchcraft and they don't even know it, right? So,
could I be in your coven? Do you have a coven?
Yeah, I do have a coven. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I do have a coven.
An actual coven?
Well, it's not the way you think.
Okay.
We get together at the stroke of 8 p.m. and we usually watch RuPaul together. It's more like a friend group. Like it's if you just kind of look at it, we do a couple of, cast a couple of spells, but then we'll watch like Top Chef or, Amazing Race. We really do bond over that. Want to see the new Game of Thrones show, but none of us have. I think it's on HBO Max, so we can't really get it right now.
You need a new coven.
Well, no, we're kind of trying to manifest it. So we think that if we put it out into the universe, somebody will, give us their password or something like that. We don't know how it works, but yeah.
I do. I have actually a subscription to HBO Max. Maybe we could talk.
Yes, we would love for you to come over and hang out with our coven. We usually get a pizza of some sort.
Like a magical pizza?
Yeah, like a witch's pizza?
Well, one is magical because I'll make one, but a lot of times people prefer to order their own because we have gluten intolerance and stuff like that.
That doesn't surprise.
Yeah. So, but we make a magical one. And if everyone has one bite usually, and then that's the one that I make.
Right.
And then, because I have a pizza stone and stuff like that.
What does Gary do when all these witches are over?
Oh, he stays in his room.
Okay.
He just hangs out there. Unless I call Gary out, he tends to just stay in his room. I think he's a gamer. Like, I think I've heard him yelling at a computer. So I'm not quite sure, but like every time he comes out of the room, he's just really nice to be around. And he'll usually go and, get into the Durango and go pick up the pizza for us, which is really
handy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we save on delivery fees, which is great. So that's, yeah. So we try and get out and do rituals together. We'll go in the woods. Sometimes we've gone down close to the lake shore, which is really beautiful. One time we went to the Y. We used the squash court there because it was raining.
Oh.
So we had to. That didn't. It was really didn't work out quite as the way we wanted to. People kept coming in and saying, "Are you done yet?" And
Right.
so, unfortunately,
You
we
weren't
had.
playing squash.
But yeah, they really wanted to. They told us afterwards, "You can't just practice in here. You have to
You have to be playing
play squash." So. Yeah.
Well, if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Beth Abatha Parker. She is a local Toronto witch, and apparently not the stereotype I was thinking. And we just want to say thanks for coming on and bringing us into your witchy world.
So thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And Lisa, again,
Yes.
please, we'll connect, and we'll be able to, God is willing, we'll be able to, you'll be able to hang out with our coven, which will be super fun.
If you can do a potion that helps the radio show, that would be great. If once we end here, you can do some magic for us. That would be fantastic.
I will. I'll burn it over a candle. Absolutely.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
You have yourself a good day.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Talk that rocks. It's Josh Holiday Live.
Crazy in love with Josh.
In middle school, he got a boner during a clarinet recital.
You need to be heard? Tell your phone to call 647-6YO-JOSH.
Continuing the very scary episode of Josh Holiday Live, the Halloween episode. We promised trivia. We have trivia.
Yay! I hate it when you break promises.
It's too often.
Too much.
Lisa Brooke is here on the show, and I figured since you're here, I'll give you some trivia. You can play along at home if you like. These are Halloween trivia questions. The first one is, I'm going to give you some quotes from horror movies, and I'll do my best to do it as if it was in the actual movie. So these are quotes from scary movies that you have to name, and if you get the question correct, you'll hear this. You'll hear this. If you get the question wrong, you'll hear this. Okay.
All right.
So, we'll start with an easy one. I see dead people.
Oh, you want to know the movie that's
The
from?
movie.
That's The Sixth Sense.
Good. Here's Johnny.
Oh, that's from The Shining. or as my mom called it, as she misread it, The Shining.
I think the sequel is called the Shinier. They're here.
You can't fool me with this one, Josh. It's The Poltergeist featuring
Yes.
the delightful Jo Beth Williams.
These are pretty easy ones. You're going to need a bigger boat.
That's from The Jaws.
All right. You're acing this round because it's
I'm killing it.
super easy.
Halloween trivia is my thing.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
That is from Nightmare on Elm Street.
A Nightmare on Elm Street, but I'm going to give it to you. Okay.
Thank you.
It's alive.
Oh, it's alive. From The Thing? Oh, yeah, it's not from The Thing.
It's Frankenstein when the monster.
Frankenstein, of course.
Do you like scary movies? That's the quote.
Twilight Zone? Oh.
That's from, ironically, it's from Scream.
All right.
A boy's best friend is his mother.
Hold, please. Hold, please. That is from Psycho.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Two more. Do you want to play a game?
You want to play a game?
And it's not from the Matthew Broderick film War Games from the 1980s.
Damn it. That was what I was going to guess.
You want to play a game?
Is it from
Think of a horror movie where there's a lot of like games and puzzles. Let me give you a hint.
Okay. Was that my hint?
Yeah, it's a chainsaw. It's but it's Saw is the movie. This is the last one. The power of Christ compels you.
Oh, The Exorcist. Hands down.
All right. Okay, now we're moving on to general horror movie trivia. Okay, name the camp in the original Friday the 13th.
Ooh, was it Camp David?
Yeah, you're close. It's Camp Crystal Lake.
Camp Crystal Lake.
3 kids make a movie and get lost in the woods. Name the movie.
It's The Blair Witch
Yes.
Project.
Here's a bit of a trick question for you. Name the actor who starred in the movie The Fly 2. Jeff Goldblum, Eric Stoltz, or Ralph Macchio?
Eric Stoltz.
Yes. The trick being that Jeff Goldblum was the original Fly.
Yes, he was.
Okay, here's another one. From the movie Seven, which one of the following is not one of the 7 deadly sins? Gluttony, pride, lust, or masturbation?
Tugging it.
All right. What kind of dog is Cujo?
I believe he's a German Shepherd.
Saint Bernard. Is it Saint Bernard?
Oh, Saint Bernard.
In the movie Poltergeist 2, Carol Ann gets sucked into what home appliance? It's not the dryer.
It's the TV.
Yes. From Friday the 13th, what's Jason's last name?
Mandelbaum. Oh.
Oh, it's Voorhees. All right, the last question for our trivia. What was Linda Blair's character's name in The Exorcist?
Reagan.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was not expecting you to get that one. All right. Well, that is your Halloween trivia. We're going to come back in just a sec and talk to a guy named Randy who works at a haunted house in the Niagara region called Yellers. It'll leave you yelling.
I hope so, damn it.
Josh Holiday Live is in your ear. You got something to say? Call 647-6YO-JOSH now. On Twitter at Josh Holiday and visit joshholidaylive.com.
Ooh, scary music. You recognize it? That's the Halloween.
That's the Halloween music. Yeah, that's the ultimate Halloween movie.
It is.
It was so popular they named it after
Halloween.
the actual occasion.
So this is fitting. It's Halloween time, and there's a lot of I guess what you would call like temporary haunted houses that tour around and show up in your town. But the real haunted houses are ones that operate year round. And there's a bunch in Niagara Falls. You have your House of Frankenstein, Dracula, Screamers.
Terrifying.
We couldn't get anyone from any of those places for whatever reason. But don't despair. We did manage to get someone from a haunted house called Yellers, which is, I guess, similar to Screamers. It's from what I understand, it's a couple of miles off the main strip. And Randy, are you there?
Yeah.
Randy,
yeah, I'm here.
You've been working at this haunted house for quite a long time, I understand.
35 years.
35 years. Wow.
Oh, wow. It's amazing that it's that long, and I'm not able to mentally place it on a map.
No.
I
guess
really?
It's flown under the radar, I guess. So
yeah.
So
well, it's just like if you're going on it's amongst the vineyards.
Okay. So it's in the vineyard area, sort of on the way to the main strip of Niagara Falls.
Yeah. Our main thing is it just can't be wine all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So
is that your slogan?
It can't be wine.
It just can't be wine all the time.
Yeah, and it's also scare. And if you drop an S, you care.
Okay.
Oh.
What? Because I've been through some of these haunted houses, and they have guys that jump out at you.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
What do you do at Yeller's haunted house?
Well, we have we're in a place right now where we don't have to adhere to very many laws.
Oh,
like, are you in international waters?
Well, no. Everybody thinks that. That. It doesn't mean that like you're going. Look, the threat of it is real, and that's it.
Chilling.
Like that's how we differentiate ourselves from other places. Like your big city places might have something where it's very safe and like people jump out at you or whatever. As like in this place, well, we're free from liability due to some.
I just before we leave this.
Okay, I'm sorry. What?
Sorry, go ahead, Josh. I'm just curious. Like, has anyone ever gone missing in your haunted house or anything? Are you at liberty to discuss that?
I can absolutely discuss it. Yeah, we're free to discuss it. But here's the thing: we're family friendly.
Oh,
okay.
Well, wait a sec. Okay, hang on. I need clarification.
Yeah, I'm confused.
You just said you're like the difference between you and these regular places is there's actually a real threat of danger. But now you're saying it's family friendly, so that seems to me a contradiction.
Well, yeah, sure it would seem to you as a contradiction. But here's the thing: it's like we always keep families friendly, but I mean, we help them along in the sense that everyone is in danger at all times. But like, I mean, come on. What we're talking about is just a simple scares, you know?
Yeah. So what?
So when you say people are in danger, like, do you mean in physical danger, and how do you achieve that? Like,
no, they're not. No, they're not in physical danger. Like, thank you for asking that, though. Thank you. They're never ever in physical danger. It's more emotional.
Emotional danger.
Okay. All right.
And so what? So on a typical day at Yeller's haunted house in Niagara region, what would you do on a typical day?
You know what? It's so mundane. I almost hesitate to say it. It's like, hey, we get there in the morning and we just like do the things from the last night. It's like every other business, but we prepare ourselves for that day. I.e., we know people are going to want like fun things to eat and fun things to drink and fun things to do, and that's it. And it's like I've always felt like, why isn't fear fun? Why are horror movies so popular? I mean, it's fun. It's really, really fun, and the kids have a lot of fun.
So when people are coming through the haunted house, what do you get up to?
Mostly I take photos.
Oh, you're the photo guy.
Like we take photos. Yeah. I'm an amateur photographer. I've been in one or two magazines once or twice, and when they have competitions about landscapes or like animals and natural habitats, mostly I'm squirrels because I have a big backyard, so so I have some squirrel stuff going on, which is great. Like they're lovely creatures. But at any rate, so we take photos of the kids going through the whole scare thing, and then you're welcome to buy it at the end. You don't have to buy it at the end.
Okay, I think I've seen some of this on the internet where I guess in the midst of being scared, they take these flash photography pictures of like families and people who are like terrified. So you
absolutely,
So there's an actual guy in the room taking these pictures. I thought it was just an automatic thing, but you're actually in there, crouched down, I guess.
Well, that's how we differentiate, because like I will jump out, and when the jump out scares is being taken with it, and it's like it's a Polaroid, so I'm doing that whole thing like you can't, like, this is radio.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I'm holding it between my thumb and forefinger, and whatever. But at the end of it, if you want to buy that, like that terror look, you can.
Right.
But if you don't, this is our thing. We'll keep it. We'll keep it.
No, I don't want to
keep
criticize
it, and we'll keep it.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to come back and buy it, you can.
Oh, well, that seems weird.
You keep all of these old Polaroids that, first of all, like, I gotta say,
I gotta criticize the business model here.
No, I'm not criticizing it. I'm just trying to understand, like, it's a Polaroid. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Polaroids require light to develop. And you're in a darkened.
I think the flash probably helps, but still, the quality. I can't imagine the quality. And
I don't even understand what you mean.
Well, I know
we're holding memory. We're just holding memories.
Places, you can access it online, and you can get your pictures, in a email form. But
no, you do it in person with us. It's like that's how we differentiate. You do it in person with us. If you want those photos, you come and you get them, and they're archived and they're absolutely safe.
What do you mean by safe?
Well, we have dogs.
Like protecting the Polaroid collection?
Well, no, just protecting the space and stuff. I mean, like, dogs don't understand from Polaroids.
Right. They're not versed on photography.
Yeah.
Why would? Okay.
So there are dogs there. Now, are the dogs part of the haunted house experience as well as protecting the photos, or they're just there to?
No, we can't. No, we can't. We make dogs part of the experience. We make people part of the experience.
Right.
So we have like a lot of underprivileged kids from the area who don't have jobs, and we can offer them jobs. So we give them jobs. Like there's some jump scares and the classic stuff you do with a thing, like yellers.
Okay.
And and we try to put a twist into it once in a while.
Now, okay, so let's hypothetically, I come through the haunted house, and I come into this room. There's a jump scare, a flash goes off, and I come to the end of the experience at the checkout desk or whatever, and the guy. Maybe I wait a couple of minutes while it develops, and then I look at my Polaroid picture, and I decide, it's not for me. Then, so you don't throw that away. What becomes of that picture?
It's saved in my home. It's saved. And if at any time...
Your home?
Yes.
Okay, but why wouldn't it just stay at the house?
So is that where the dogs are? Is that your house?
What? What? No, it's at my home. It's at my home. So everything is safely held. If just in the off chance that you want to come back, if you want to come back, which I think you should, because it's a really good ride. If you want to come back, that's great. We might have those this historical photo of you. It's like the DNA 3065 or whatever they do on the websites. It's like that, but with photos. So we have your photos.
Okay. So what's the storage situation at your house? Are these like up on the wall, or you have them in boxes or files? How do you store these things?
Well, I put them away, like in safe places. So, yeah. So I don't know. Like, of course, we put them away in safe places, but you didn't buy them in the first place. So what would you be afraid about?
I'm not. I
don't
want.
Well,
I'm not putting pressure on here, but it does seem a little odd that they wouldn't stay at the haunted house. Because if I came back to the haunted house, and I like on the
Yeah.
This is very hypothetically, if I came back and had second thoughts about having my picture, you would have to go all the way home and get it from your apartment.
I live like 10 minutes away.
Okay.
It's fine. It's absolutely fine.
It's very hypothetical because, I mean, I'm just going to be straight with you, Randy. I'm not hearing an exciting enough adventure that I think I would be making a second trip to Yellers.
Huh.
So I think maybe, I might look at my photo and say, hey, this thing's underdeveloped. But I would definitely want to throw it out. Like, I don't know that I would want it going to somebody's house.
Yeah, but like, for sure, that's always like big ride people, right? Big ride people always say that stuff. But we're small rides. That's all we are. We're small scares. We're small rides. We're small Polaroids, and that's all we're doing. And then they're saved, okay? And you can have them anytime. I dare you to ask Google to save your pictures anytime, because they won't.
They have Google.
Well,
Photos.
actually,
they save automatically on.
They do save. Sorry, I'm just like you said, big ride people. Do you get a lot of big ride people? Like, are you?
Yeah, one time. Yeah, one-timers we call them.
So
One-timers.
They come and they never come back. They're disappointed.
Yeah, they never come back. And like we know as soon as they walk in, we know. Using cards.
And what about? I mean, there must be somewhat of a competition between Screamers and Yeller. Screamers is the one I've heard of in Niagara Falls. And Yellers, I up until this week I hadn't heard of you. What is that competition like?
It's funny. It's like we go further than they do. But apparently they have this trademark on the word scream, and we have to use yell. And I don't know if you know from words, but yell, it seems like less screamy than scream. And it's hard. It's really hard. So I'm glad you asked this question. But that's why we try to provide just like whatever extra services we can, right? It's like, I don't know, like our actors get to eat. And I don't know if they do at Screamers. I don't know if they do.
Okay. So that's how you attract. So it's almost like, and do they get paid as well as fed?
Yes. Of course. But we couldn't exist if we couldn't pay them.
Okay. So I just want to I touch on this emotional terror that you're sort of like emblematic of Yellers. Can you treat Josh and I as if we were coming through the haunted house and give us a sample of that emotional terror? Okay, closing our eyes.
This is how we start. We start everyone like this. We say, close your eyes. And then we say, grab onto the person in front of you. And sometimes that there's not a person in front of you. So we give you a chain. So you have to grab onto a chain and pretend we tell you, pretend that chain is a person, because it will become important later.
Okay.
And now I don't want to give away too much because it gets scarier from there.
All right.
Okay. So we walk you into a wooded forest.
Oh, so it's
okay.
Like we walk you into a wooded forest. I'm a bit rusty. I haven't done this in a while. But then we say, let go of the person in front of you.
Okay.
Let go of the person in front of you. Right?
Yeah.
Right. And now you don't have any anger because you haven't opened your eyes yet. People open their eyes.
Mine are still closed. I'm going with this. I'm right in it.
People open their eyes and they ruin it.
Okay. So it's
because like this, you
So I know screamers, their rooms are all naturally dark and they don't have light. So what you're saying is you're relying on the customers to provide the darkness by having their eyes closed through the experience.
Imagination.
Right. So
if you can't keep your eyes closed, do you deserve it? Do you deserve minimum wage? You can't keep your eyes closed.
I don't know how minimum wage has to do with customers being the. Are you okay? Are you okay, Randy?
It's fine.
Did you scare yourself, Randy?
I didn't scare myself. I know my business.
Okay.
If people sign in on Facebook, they get $1 off.
If they find it on Facebook, is it a challenge to find it on Facebook?
If they sign in.
Oh, they sign in. Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been a fascinating look into the world of haunted houses.
Randy, can I open my eyes now?
Randy?
Yeah.
Randy?
Yes,
Oh.
you can.
All right.
Okay.
That
Oh,
was an experience. Okay.
Okay.
Randy.
what a wild
We've got to
ride.
continue on with the show here, but I want to say thank you for coming on to chat with us, and we encourage people to visit Yellers, sort of outside of the main strip of Niagara in the winery region and the forested area.
Yeah, just tell them about Scary Saturdays. It's half off if you come before 2
Right.
p.m.
So you really maybe want to wear sunglasses as well as closing your eyes.
Thanks, Randy.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, Randy. Oh my goodness.
Well, that was interesting.
Wow, that was weird and scary.
Scary for unusual reasons.
Yeah, for the wrong reasons. I don't want to meet that guy jumping out with a Polaroid camera
No.
in the dark.
And I don't want him having my picture anywhere near his house.
And holy shit, is he taking us into an actual forest?
I don't get it. Anyway, that's a wrap on this very special Halloween episode of Josh Holiday Live. You can get old episodes or get in touch at joshholidaylive.com. Lisa Brooke,
Yeah.
thanks for coming and hanging out with us on this scary episode.
Josh, I can see by the full moon that it's time for me to go. Oh.
Turn on the lights, open the shades.
The show's over, but the conversation continues. On Twitter at Josh Holiday, on the web at joshholidaylive.com, and hear missed episodes on your favorite podcatcher. Talk that rocks. Josh Holiday Live.